Hey everybody, hope you guys are all doing okay. Welcome back to Let's Play Slay the Spire. Today we're going to be doing another Ascension with the Defect, but I will tell you that this one took me so long that in the end I stopped doing commentary, and I was like, I'm just gonna record the run and I'll do post commentary on after I win, because I think I started doing it at around 8 p.m. and I was like, surely it's gonna take at most a couple hours. Lo and behold, it's past midnight when I finally ended up getting it done, or close to midnight. It was very late at night. I'm like, I can play the game. I'm in no shape to do commentary. So what I did was I just recorded the run. Then I did some post commentary. So what I'm gonna do is I'll show you the run and the post commentary that I recorded over it. But before that, I'll show you just one brief highlight, which incidentally was also the point at which I stopped doing a live commentary. That was this particular fight against the Time Eater, which I'm about to show you now. There's no way to get a frost orb at the front, dude. There's no way to get a frost orb at the front. There's no fucking way to. Oh my fucking god. Man, fuck this game, dude. Oh. How fucking long is it? Oh my god. Because does this help us out at all? No, because we don't have enough. Don't have enough. Don't fucking have enough. Fuck this game, dude. It just isn't fun, man. This just isn't fucking fun. Okay, okay, yeah. So now you've seen what I went through. Man, I don't know what to tell you. Yes, I lost to him, but it's not just like, even when I win against the Time Eater, it's just not a fun fight, right? I think the only or one analogy I can think of is, like, imagine if in the Binding of Isaac there was a boss that had a mechanic that said, "Ooh, every 12 steps you take, the boss is just gonna freeze you in space and then try and hit you." And yeah, you could beat a boss like that. You could build like a Daddy Longlegs, like a Nod Leaf or orbital kind of run, where you can kill enemies without moving, or like moving a minimal amount. But very quickly, if a boss like that existed, you'd understand that the idea of it seeming interesting, very quickly, the novelty very quickly would wear off, and it would just be irritating. Same with the Time Eater. The novelty of a boss that limits how many cards you can play doesn't last very long, right? I feel like 30% of this series is just me complaining about the Time Eater, but that's just because it's just not a good boss. Anyway, that was what convinced me to get, to stop doing live commentary, because I'm like, number one, I'm too tired. Number two, if I do commentary after this annoying run, or these annoying runs, and this annoying boss fight, I'll just be full of negativity. So I'll get back to it when I'm in slightly better shape. So at this point, I'm going to now show you the run and the post commentary that I've already recorded on it. Right, so let's get started with the run. This is a run that was defined by the very first thing done in the game, which is I took that final blessing from Niao, and we got the Black Star. Now, usually when I find Black Star, it's at the Act 1 boss. Usually I get it after my run is already too weak to comfortably fight elites. And then, you know, I don't really get that much value out of it. Or you find it in Act 2 when it's even more useless. But an early Black Star can potentially be run defining, because usually you fight the first couple elites just on principle, because you have the health to do it. And then, you know, you get double relics. And so I was like, okay, let's see how this is gonna go. And you know, these first couple fights are gonna be they're gonna be pretty routine, but I am gonna be playing pretty slow because I was when you're not recording live, you kind of just don't have that same level of urgency that you did. Boot sequence also is a pretty damn good pickup. It's innate, so there are situations later on in the run, like if you've picked up Glacier, Capacitor, Consume, when you might wish that other cards show up instead, but you know, it's still a good pickup. And here I think carefully before taking Claw. Claw is still my favorite defect build. I don't care what anybody else says. But, you know, there was a case to be made for recursion, you know. But, you know, we'll see how you do with Claw. And this fight is a bunch of... Almost every single time I get into this fight, it is a bunch of garbage. Because you almost never have any sort of AoE going into this fight. Almost never. It's just kind of awful. And I'm like, okay, I should probably attack that guy. And then the guys in the back, if you hit them with attack damage, they gain strength. The guy in the front just does a lot of damage. The Gremlin Wizard, who we killed first, if you don't kill him in time, can just end your run. And already, from a pretty good start, well, I mean, Black Star hasn't given us anything yet, but it's a relic with a lot of potential. All of a sudden, we have taken a potentially run-ending amount of damage against these jokers. And the damage just keeps coming. We are down to 21 health. Killed one of them. Finally brought it down to the point where we're not going to be taking any more damage. But man, what an awful fight for us, right? And now Equilibrium has to be the automatic pickup. I think about Beam Cell because if you get all for one, it's nice. Early on with any sort of attacks, it's pretty nice. But I'm thinking carefully. I think what I'm doing is I'm looking up what the Steam Barrier upgrade does, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of useless. So I think you gotta go for Equilibrium, right? You just gotta do it. It's a damn good card. And like I said in the earlier, like the pre-run stuff that I recorded, this run is basically me, among other things, there are many subplots, but one of the main things in this run is just me falling in love with Equilibrium. It's a great, great card. And, oh, also, one downside to picking up Black Star is that you obviously lose your starting relic. Like we just did. But you hope that what you gain is going to be better than that, but you still have to cope with the loss of your starting relic, which means you don't automatically channel lightning at the start of combat, which does reduce your damage output, and you've got to compensate for that in other ways. And against the Lagavulin fight, you see how I didn't wake him up until after I filled my orb slots with orbs? That was a pretty smart move, and it's gonna really limit the amount of damage he's able to do, because Equilibrium plus 2 orbs means a whole hell of a lot of block. And now he is gonna be debuffing us, so you know, that's definitely a rough spot to be in. But hitting him a couple times, bringing him down to below half health, and I opt to play Equilibrium again because I wanted to retain all of the damage plus the boot sequence. Because here's what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, I can play boot sequence to block a little bit, block a little bit more with the you know, frost orb that was evoked, and then just gotta bash him. Just gotta bash him hard. But we're down even lower, and at this point I'm like, okay, Black Star is a Black Star screwed me over. Before I could even get any value out of it, I ran into the worst possible fights. And I was like, okay, GG, you know, let's start a new run. But then I pick up Eternal Feather. I'm like, okay, I can slowly start getting my health back. Akabiko, one attack does more damage. Like, and then I think you gotta pick up Streamline just because you have no damage, man. Streamline is pretty good in the early game. It's okay in the mid game. In the late game, it doesn't carry you. I mean, against bosses, but it can still be useful against trash mob fights. But this run just dies unless we pick up some actual source of damage. So it's gotta be Streamline, man. Right, so now I think you gotta, with 4 health, I think you gotta rest. Well, you get a little bit of health back because of the feather. And ooh, I'm opting to take a risk. Upgrading Equilibrium with such low health is definitely a risk. And there's only one thing you can possibly do in this shop, and that is you gotta buy Glacier. Every time I see Hyper Beam, I think it's all for one. And I get excited, and then I mean, Hyper Beam isn't a bad card. It's great against Act 2 multi-fight enemies. Even Act 1, but like it's overkill in Act 1. It's a decent fight, so I opt to thin down my deck a little bit in that shop, and opt to obviously get the Glacier. Now with Glacier and Chill, suddenly we're in really good shape. And I remove a Strike at this point. Could have removed a Defend, but I'm feeling very, very nervous. Very nervous, indeed. And I think you gotta start out with a nice Streamline. And a nice Chill. And a nice boot sequence. The temptation is gonna be to play Glacier, but you gotta just eat a little bit of damage to make sure that the rest of the fight goes well. So I am able to bring out my Claw as well, and maybe not very lucky, but because that was a bad split, but I was able to bring him down low enough to interrupt him. And then I just do a bunch of damage to that one in the front. They're probably both going to be attacking me at this point. Yep, that's what I thought. So pretty low on health, but we're only going to be taking 1 damage, but some slimes are going to be added. Down to 10 health. And again, you know, just gotta power through this fight, not getting attacked. So this fight is gonna be, you know, one that we got through without losing too much health, but it was still rough. Now Seek is pretty good, and I guess you see Seek, you take Seek. And then there are things that need to be upgraded. There are also things that need to be, well, there's health that needs to be gained. Streamline's a pretty good early upgrade. But at this point, I'm like, I'm not confident fighting an elite, so I opt to just rest. Right. Akabiko gives you a bit of extra damage early, and I think boot sequence has got to be the play. Make sure you're not taking early damage. And you gotta hit him with a bit of that. A bit of claw action. Now I could seek to maybe bring in equilibrium, but I'm like, nah. Let's just hit him with a cold snap, and maybe just do some glacier action. And maybe save the Seek for a future turn. Or do you Seek and bring a Streamline in? try and do some damage, and then Streamline is subsequently going to be cheaper. There's a few options that you can do depending on how much health you have. But I opt to Seek for equilibrium to keep Glacier for a future turn. Interesting move, because I knew that this turn was going to be only 10 damage, because only the guy in the middle was going to be attacking, and I should have done chill while there were only while there were 3 of them, because now it only channeled 2, and then I wouldn't have had to dual cast. And I lost a little bit of health because of that mistake. Or I wouldn't have had to like channel more. I didn't dual cast, but I did do zap. And because it didn't have quite enough damage, quite enough block, took I think 1 point of damage. At this point, or it's okay. Do you strike zap or do you equilibrium? And I was like, okay, let's strike zap, right? At this point, I'm gonna take a little bit more damage because only 7 block, and now Streamline is gonna be it's gonna be free because we've played it twice. It's a really good early card. Yeah. But, you know, in long fights, multiple claws will end up doing more damage than multiple Streamlines. Depending on how many claws you have. I think maybe 3 or 4 claws is the tipping point. And the extra potion slots is a pretty good pickup, because only 2 potions is very restrictive, and at this point I think it's gotta be hologram. It's just such a useful card. Alright, so take that. It's pretty good. And now you could go question mark, or you could go to a fight. I go into a regular fight because question marks are just bad past Ascension 15. And there are some basic, like common cards that I'd still like to pick up. Right, more claws would be pretty good. Go for the eyes, beam cell. Go for the eyes can save you tons of damage over the course of a run. Beam cell can help you output damage at key moments. Right, so take 1 damage on that first turn. A decent turn. Gonna take, unfortunately, unless we can kill this guy. Oh, I think, nah. I could use my potion. Oh no. Not quite enough. I'm thinking, okay, if I restart the battle and throw the potion on him, but I'm like, nah, it's not a... That's not worth doing. So beam cell's pretty good. All of these, honestly, are things that I would pick up. But a early molten egg, plus an early upgraded beam cell, it's pretty nice. I don't know what I was thinking about. I could see that they were all upgraded, so I think I was just being very, trying to be very, very thoughtful. There's a case to be made to save chill for after the second split, but I think you don't. You don't do it. Alright, so now we got a even more beam cell action. You got a zap. You gotta hit him with a claw. And you gotta hit him with a streamline, bring him down to almost 70. And at this point, there's nothing really left to seek. And I'm realizing that, okay, I've made a bit of a mistake, because he's gonna split at the end of this turn. And there's nothing I can do to stop that. So, really, what I should have done was, I should have done less damage to him early on. Or do I just eat this damage? And ultimately, I'm like, okay, no, let's just hologram back the streamline. And this is gonna be our split. Not the worst, but usually I hope for something a little bit better than that, because we cannot instantly interrupt them with the streamline because they're above 40 health. So I think you do interrupt one of them and then you use Glacier, or you just eat the damage and get a tiny bit of block. If you're confident that you can kill them next turn. Alright. Get rid of that slime. You gotta do something. And I opt to just do a little bit of damage to the guys in front, because getting rid of them is going to be pretty crucial. Equilibrium might be a strong play. And ultimately get rid of that slime as well. And I think you gotta just do Equilibrium. Keep the Cold Snap for the next turn. Take a little bit of damage. No biggie. No problem. Boot Sequence showed up when it wasn't needed. You gotta get rid of the slime. And maybe seek a... maybe seek a streamline. Because when else are you gonna use it? Alternatively, you can seek a beam cell and then hit him with a streamline next turn, because he's not attacking us right now. But then I'm also thinking, I've got my orbs out, and my orbs are probably gonna interrupt him, regardless of what I do or don't do. So I'm like, okay, let's just do this. down to 2 health. I'd say that's a pretty good split. And we only fought one elite. Only fought 2 elites in that first floor. First act, that is. So I'm thinking about bias cognition. I'm thinking about... Ooh, I do take bias cognition. Interesting. I thought... I'm recording this post-commentary several days after the fact. I guess I was confident enough in my defense that I was like, I don't need buffer. That's such a risky mindset to have. And at this point, these are not great options. I would have taken Cursed Key, right? Because we're fighting elites to get relics. We're not really getting relics from chests. Ultimately, I take Runic Dome because I'm like, in this build, right? Hopefully our defense is going to be good enough that we don't care about what enemies are doing. Now, we know what she's going to be doing. She's going to attack you once, and before Ascension 17, what she's going to do is she'll attack you once, then she'll hex you, then she'll go into some other probabilistic pattern, but her first couple moves are pretty thoroughly deterministic. Do you even do Equilibrium to keep a dual cast? I guess you do, just to get the letter opener damage, because you might as well. Alright, you gotta hit her with a cool streamline. And you don't know what she's doing. She might be trying to debuff you, she might be trying to attack you. This is where Runic Dome messes with you, because I'm like, I could hit her some more, or I could seek a Glacier, but then that's 2 dazes coming into my deck. Ultimately, I'm not confident, so I do that. Even taking the Glacier, but as it turns out, she wasn't even attacking. And she reduced my damage, so I made life worse for myself by doing that. But you know, we're still able to avoid taking damage from her. And at this point, I'm just going all in on trying to keep my defense. And luckily, we're able to get through without too much of a problem. A second streamline is interesting. I guess I just take it. It's already upgraded. Now, these guys, always a pain. Unless... always a pain unless you're the Watcher and you've gone infinite in the middle of Act 1. Or you're the Ironclad and you have Whirlwind. I don't think there's a single other build that feels okay fighting these guys. And they get even worse on Ascension 17, but let's not worry about Ascension 17 right now. Let's focus on this. And again, Runic Dome is bad in this fight because you gotta think carefully about which ones are buffing, which ones are attacking. And I actually cheesed this fight because I'm like, okay, the one I attacked in the first go, you know, I split my damage a little bit. Maybe I should concentrate my damage on the one that is... well, I guess they're all buffing, but maybe I should just concentrate my damage on the one with the least health. That way I can knock... either kill or at least knock somebody out of the sky. So, as much as I'd like to spread things out with Beam Cell, we just don't have enough attacks, right? So, I'm thinking about what to do. So, I could just kill one of them, and in the end, I'm like, okay, let's just make sure we don't take damage. And now I'm like, okay, what can I bring back that helps me? Both of my streamlines, I could make one of them free. I could bring back Boot Sequence and maybe avoid a little bit of damage. Or, I mean, I guess those are really your only options. And I opt for brute sequence. And I guess you might as well just either play a zap or a defend. Ooh. The letter opener gets a bit of damage. Oh, we're taking bad damage. Chill showed up a little bit. Well, it's still useful with 2 enemies, but it could have been a lot. Could have been a lot better. Alright. More horrible damage. And again, these guys have delivered a run-threatening amount of damage. The first fight we've had, and or like one of the first fights in this floor, and we've on this act, and we're already in dire straits yet again. Alright, so I killed that dude, and I'm like, okay, what can I do to kill this man? Probably nothing, so let's just glacier and hope that he doesn't have enough damage to mess with us. You might as well hit him with something 0 cost, right? Yeah. Okay. Luckily, didn't break through our defense that time. Alright. And you're dead. Rebound is pretty good with Claw. You can also rebound Glacier. Not a bad move. We've got extra energy. We can play big moves like that. But I think, did I take Charge Battery? I might have done that because, oh yeah, I think you gotta buy Self Repair. Charge Battery, I guess, does help us set up really big moves, like playing Equilibrium and Glacier, and still have 1 energy left over to do something else. You gotta get Self-Repair, dude. It's just gotta happen. And now, I'm like, is there something I'd like to remove? A strike. Now that's most of our gold gone. I'd say that's a pretty good shop. These guys, hard to say what they're doing, what they're gonna be doing. I could do a bias cognition, but I'm like, you know what? Let's not mess with it too much. Big damage to the guy in the back. And now I think what you gotta do is you gotta take out the guy in the back. You'll become vulnerable, but you can hopefully with Glacier be able to avoid all of this damage. Because otherwise, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna kill the guy in front. You're not even gonna punch through his block if you're trying to attack him. And then hit him with a Glacier. And then maybe bring back something 0 cost with a hologram, which we don't have. So I guess you might as well dual cast. And I guess the dual cast did save us a bit of damage there. That's pretty good. So we can Seek, get 1 more Frost Orb, and then maybe Zap to evoke some Frost. And then Charge Battery, we could do Streamline, start reducing the costs on those. But I opt for a very conservative, very defensive approach. And again, we're down so low on health. Disgustingly low on health. I even take the Flex Potion just because we are in... Especially with Runic Dome, we're in the territory where one unfortunate move, it just ends the whole run. And it's not like I can even be like, oh, I'm gonna take lethal damage, let me save and exit. No. you'll realize it's lethal damage when they hit you and kill you, and then you can't. And then you can't even come back, right? Then that's the situation we find ourselves in. Oh, yeah, so we just gotta kill this guy, man. And bias cognition helped us out. A second claw is good. A first capacitor, I think, might be the... First capacitor might be a better move, but I think my thinking is what's holding us back is not being able to kill people quickly enough. Alright, so we get a bit more health. And now I upgrade bias cognition, or do I upgrade seek? Alright. That's a bit of an aggressive move, because now seek can do some really fun stuff. It can give you glacier and a 0 cost. So I kill that dude's friend. I do boot sequence, and then I think you gotta just... If I'd played that last... no, bias cognition is a power, it's not a skill. It would not have triggered letter opener. So I'm like, wait, what can I do? I can bring streamline and something 0 cost. Or I can bring in chill. But you gotta start powering up your claws, I think. So I'm like, what makes the most sense? Just hit him with a streamline. I should have beam celled him first. But, I mean, oof, that's a bad hit, dude. And I don't know what he's doing. I know he's not going to be attacking, so I'm like, this is a waste of a... This is a waste of an equilibrium, and I don't know... Excuse me. I'm not sure what I'm thinking at this point. This is the one downside to doing post-commentary is that there are going to be points where I'm like, what am I trying to do differently? What am I thinking that I'm going to accomplish that didn't happen in the first time around? So I still use seek. Do I take different cards with seek? Or do I do something else? I mean, it's as much a mystery to me at this point as it is to you. What am I doing, dude? What? What am I doing, man? Equilibrium? And then I'm also playing Glacier? I guess I just wanted to block that really big hit of his. True, he did do a lot of damage, so it's not an irrational thing, but that's such a cowardly, defensive-oriented way of doing things. Now, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, okay, I know how Gremlin Wizard functions. He's gonna be, we're gonna have a few turns where we're safe against him, right? So, ooh, a bad amount of damage from that dude. Now we have to start damaging the Gremlin leader. We've barely touched him at all. Alright. So now I know he's not going to be attacking. Rally. But now we got to start hitting him. At this point I'm like, okay, maybe this is the time for biased cognition. Now we got to just start focusing down Gremlin leader. Maybe take out Shield Gremlin. Maybe... Because that will give us a little bit more, like it'll reduce the block that's going up against these dudes. Alright. So now we are excuse me. We are losing focus over time. Right? However, we've done some pretty good damage. And now if we can do something fun, like a beam cell streamline action, we can get pretty close to killing him. And in fact, I think we might even just barely have lethal. There we go. And his friends just ran away in his hour of need as he was lying there dying on the ground. All the gremlins just ran away. Now a second equilibrium is interesting. A second glacier is interesting. Second beam cell, I feel like adds the least value out of these. And now I do take the obviously correct option, which was the glacier. Alright. Alright. And when I started out, I focused on taking the cleric out in the back, because she has the lowest health. But now I'm realizing that's a trap. Because you kill her, and then the guy in the front is going to start doing really strong attacks, and he'll be doing nothing but attacks. Whereas, while both of them are alive, they'll occasionally have turns where one or the other of them isn't attacking. Now, it is true, she's going to be buffing their strength, but it is more than offset by the fact that occasionally they just won't be attacking. So now I think I almost exclusively just try and kill the Centurion first. So took a dastardly amount of damage, and I'm like, I could do bias cognition, but he's also almost dead. He's probably not going to be attacking this turn. And I guess you do bias cognition. Letter opener gets us a bit more damage. And that was overkill on the block. But we now at least are going to be able to take out this dude. And then Equilibrium helps us keep Glacier, or you just play Glacier. And do a bit more damage to her with Letter Opener. Now she's gonna be annoying, because we don't know what she's gonna be doing. We'll hit her with a Streamline, do a bit of self-repair action, and hit ourselves with a Glacier. She's giving herself strength. It ain't gonna help her though. Hit her with a Cold Snap, and as long as we're doing more than 16 damage to her per turn, we're outpacing her healing. Now you gotta take the capacitor, right? I'm thinking about white noise. I'm like, what if we pick up Mummified? No, you don't pick stuff up thinking you might get something in the future. You take stuff based on what you have right now, and right now, what we have demands that we pick up capacitor. If I pick up anything other than capacitor, then you should just unsubscribe, dislike the video, and probably just report me to YouTube for a hate crime. Luckily we can see that I made the correct decision, and I could remove cards, but there's so much that needs to be fixed, so much that needs to be upgraded. We get a little bit of health back, and I'm like, okay, I'll buy a relic from him. Pen Nib is actually pretty good. Pen Nib on Streamline, Pen Nib on an upgraded Claw, both of them huge. I mean, it depends on how you draw your cards, whether you're able to make use of it, but even Pen Nib on the worst possible thing, on a Claw with no damage, that's still an extra bit of damage that you wouldn't have had otherwise. These guys with their debuff resistance are just the worst. And the guy in the back does scary amounts of damage. Like, is there a way to kill the guy? There isn't. He's gonna add trash to our discard. And I can seek a streamline. That's an interesting option. I can also hologram a streamline. So we can bring a claw, we can bring a chill. A claw and a chill. But instead I guess I bring streamline and self-repair. Alright. Bold move. Let's see. Ooh, a gremlin horn coming in hot. You play the self-repair early. You hit yourself with a glacier, and now you're not taking damage because you know he's going to be doing 11 damage on the first turn. 22 damage on this turn, which if we play our cards right, we can block, but he has also made us frail. Right? So we're just barely blocking his damage here. And now he's back to low damage. This is one of those enemies whose patterns I just have memorized. Now he's just down to low damage, but he's gonna try to give himself more block. So at this point I'm like, maybe we just biased cognition the rest of this fight. Boot sequence isn't gonna help. So let's maybe hologram something that gives us a bit more damage. A claw. And now claws are better than strikes. Now double streamline. Ooh, pen nib. You see, that's what I'm talking about. Pen nib on streamline. Mad damage, and then the biased cognition helped us out there. A second capacitor, honestly, it's pretty tempting. All of these are interesting options. Even double energy situationally can be very, very useful if you have something like spinning top, and then you can just play your entire hand and then just keep playing. So I'm genuinely torn. I think what I'm doing is I'm looking up what the double energy upgrade does. I'm pretty sure it makes it 0 cost. I know what the capacitor upgrade does. I know what the charge battery upgrade does, but I think you gotta make sure. That you are understanding what it is you're giving, what it is you're taking, and what it is you're giving up. Right? So now we have a decent amount of health, and we're almost at full health. Hilariously enough, I could upgrade Zap to make it free. Finally, upgrade biased cognition. But I opt to upgrade the capacitor because that's gonna make it so that we can fill up our thing with frost orbs. Take my potion, hit him with a bit of this action, hit you with a nice early capacitor. Do we just play boot sequence? Yeah, let's just play boot sequence. He might not be attacking. And he isn't attacking, so that was a waste of a boot sequence. But honestly, I just want to get it. I just want to get it out of my face. Right. Oh, did we get Echo Form from the Power Potion? If we did, then that is just great luck. Because that not only lets us rapidly scale up our defense, but it also lets us do a lot of damage. Echo Form on Streamline is a... Ooh, Pen Nib showing up as well. But I want Pen Nib to hit like a good attack. I want Pen Nib to hit something nice like Pen Nib on a double Streamline. Yeah, that's got to be the play. Are both of them gonna get the pen nib or just one? Only one of them did. But, you know, that's still a lot of damage. Right? Now you gotta seek. Maybe a claw, maybe a streamline. Maybe, well, we can seek 2 cards. Ooh, Beam Cell and a Claw, interesting play. I could even do Bias Cognition, but I'm like, I think I can win without that. And the way you win without that is you Equilibrium. Hit him once and maybe do a Charge Battery. Because he's gonna pretty soon be going into his phase 2. I think he's already gone into phase 2 because he went below half health, and now he gives himself Metallicize, which gives himself block every turn, which is a bit annoying, but what are you gonna do? Right? So Streamline, doing great damage. The claws, doing scaling damage. Zap coming in. And at this point I'm like, should I just bring back a claw? Because eventually they'll start doing more damage than Streamline, especially if I play them more often. I'm like, I could do a Bias Cognition. We're probably fine without it, but it could help us make sure that we're not taking damage for the rest of the fight. So I do go for the late Biased Cognition. Now Pen Nib active again. We'd like to do Pen Nib on a... We'd like to do Pen Nib on a strong attack, like even a claw like that, pretty good. And I think he's in pretty bad shape. He's in fact dead, and we healed to full. We took no damage in that fight. A second Seek is interesting. Gives us a lot of deck control, and at this point you gotta just take a Cursed Key because you've seen almost all of your chests. What else are you gonna do? Right, there's still upgrades that need to be had. There are still enemies that could be very horrible to fight if we give them extra strength. So let's just do a bit of Seek action, and yeah, get some nice deck manipulation. Alright, so we don't have that much gold, so I'm like, maybe we'll aim for a late shop, trying to get some good value out of that. Let's see how that goes. Let's see how that goes. So, unfortunately, we have no multi-attacks. We don't have anything like... Rip and Tear would be pretty good with Akabeko, but that's also pretty underwhelming skill to take. Barrage with Akabeko... Actually, no. Barrage only works if all your orb slots are already full, and Akabeko wears off. So you would only really do Akabeko with something like... I mean, it's pretty great with a Whirlwind, I would say. Pummel, things like that. Tantrum. With our build, it's an okay amount of damage, but it's not that great. Against these guys, I have no idea what they intend to do, and I don't intend to find out. I just intend to make sure that we have enough block to just deal with them. I guess I was gambling that they wouldn't all be attacking by not playing boot sequence. Alright. And then as long as you can take one of them out, you're doing pretty well. You gotta hit the Streamline. Just go for it. You gotta hit a Glacier. And I think now you gotta play Boot Sequence. And depending on what they're doing, we could take damage. We are taking... Ooh, we took a bad amount of damage. But we can heal a lot of it back. We do have an upgraded Self-Repair. I think you might as well just do a dual cast. Ooh, yeah. Bias Cognition. That's bold. I would have thought it's too early in the fight for Bias Cognition, but without that, we would have taken some damage there. Ooh, nice. Nice. Beam Cell and hitting you. And I haven't killed any of them yet. I want to keep their health relatively even, because I want to kill them within 1 or 2 turns of each other, otherwise they will start coming back. Pen Nib would have maybe been more useful on a stronger attack. But, you know what, we didn't even draw Streamline on this turn, so I don't think Pen Nib was going to do anything. Now we do have Streamline, but, you know, Claw would have already taken that Pen Nib. So now we've killed a couple of them. So we know we're not gonna be taking damage this turn. Just hologram back the Streamline, kill that dude, and we draw more stuff, and we killed you. And ooh, fruit juice is pretty nice. Just immediately drink it. Is there ever a reason not to drink fruit juice right away? The answer is yes. If you run into events that reduce your max health by some percentage, then if you drink fruit juice afterwards, you gain a lot more. Now I'm thinking consume is an interesting proposition. With consume, we basically no longer need biased cognition. Because yes, biased cognition is good, but in long fights, it works against you. Whereas consume can really carry you, right? Especially with 2 capacitors, right? We picked up a second capacitor, didn't we? I think we did. Right. I don't know why I'm upset about what happened there. So you hit him with a Streamline. You do a Glacier. And then you well, no, you can't play the Streamline because it's alright, I guess I literally just played the hologram to get a bit of defense out of it. I think the key with this fight is gonna be you gotta just kill him quickly, don't worry about fiddling around, setting up capacitor, because that's gonna be a trap, he'll just do damage to you. I mean, it can work if I bring in, like, Glacier and capacitor. I guess I am just taking the coward's way out. So, and then Seek on a beam cell, I think, would be the right move. Oh, I did make the right move. Oh, self-repair shows up at the wrong time. Oh well. Pen Nib. Alright, get a bit more defense. Alright. He did do a little bit of damage, that sucks. So at this point I'm thinking I could kill him, like, right now. I was like, but I could just wait until next turn. Maybe see if we can fish for self-repair. Because we're not going to be taking damage. I'm thinking, is it worth it? He's not going to be able to do more damage than the block that we have. Especially if we play biased cognition. So I'm like, okay, he's at 1 health. Let's play biased cognition and let's fish for self-repair. Because if we get it, then that's a bit of healing. So I think you gotta just end your turn. I'm like, yep, self-repair definitely is in our draw. It can show up. At this point, I'm like, okay, how committed am I to this concept? Because I can consume, and I can do equilibrium. But then that just killed him. I forgot about letter opener. So all of that for naught. And I bet you self-repair was going to be the next thing to show up. Now, you know what? This is actually a good thing because I was thinking about removing biased cognition anyway. Because we're going to be on consume energy for the rest of this run. Or at least self-repair just to get it out. And we've played all our cards. And we still have energy left over. So no damage on turn 1. What you do is you dual cast and then you consume. And then you can even do charge battery and zap. Or charge battery defend. Charge battery zap gives us damage over the course of the rest of the fight. But leaves us with 1 less frost orb, which is why sorry, the zap leaves us with less damage overall. Did I say zap? I forgot what I said. I'm just trying to keep up with the action. There are times when I play slowly, there are times when I play really quickly. I think you gotta do capacitor if you're trying to do long fights. The thing is, you have to get comfortable with your deck. So even if there are trash mob fights that you can win easily, it's still a good idea to go through the motions of what it feels like. Okay, when do I play consume? When do I play my capacitors? Is it right away? Do I hold on to them? But yeah, now we're pretty comfortable. Now I don't think we're taking damage for the rest of this fight, unless something catastrophic happens. You just gotta do claw, streamline, streamline. Maybe even kill one of them. Streamline? Yeah. You can even hologram back a streamline and play it. But I'm, at this point, worried about taking damage from them. And they can do some pretty gnarly damage. Alright. So one of them's gonna come back, right? The one in the middle. We know that because they suck. Right. Could have consumed again, but I'm like, I think we're good. I think we're good. Now, they come back with half health. So it's not that difficult to kill them again. But it can still be a pretty annoying fight. Alright. Equilibrium. Dual cast gives us a bit of security. And then we can hologram back a cold snap. Or a charge battery for next turn. And do a bit more strike damage. Alright, let's see how this... I mean, these battles are just... The Act 3 battles are all longer than they need to be. And the 3 Darklings is... honestly one of the less annoying ones. Ooh, I almost always go for the rare relic. The only time I would go for normality is if there were multiple shops ahead of me and I had either Omamori or my deck was small enough that there wasn't something I urgently needed to remove. But a rare relic is usually a pretty safe bet for things that can make your run good. Sometimes you get useless relics, but sometimes you get some pretty good ones. So early capacitor is pretty good. He's in defensive mode, and we need some defensive action because he is going to be hitting us for 10 damage. So you got to seek some defensive cards. And look, why not just seek a couple of glaciers? Because we have the space. We have space left over, and you know, just play the self-repair, get it out of the way. Play the chill, get it out of the way. And now you're just not taking damage for the rest of the fight. You can even consume, right? Make yourself even stronger, right? Hologram back another glacier, and now you can play your claws and only take a small bit of damage in the process. Now Streamline hits him pretty hard. He's going to be doing 20 damage, which we can just tank. And there's a case to be made that you consume again, but that's better with the upgraded consume. With the unupgraded consume, I think you just do it once and you just leave it. I'm gonna bring back a claw just to power up my claws. This is gonna probably put him back to sleep. Yep. Yeah, so I think I'm done consuming for the rest of this fight. Glacier is pretty good. Then we can do a bit of this action. I think we gain block overall by using Cold Snap, assuming we had some block to start out with. At this point, I'm like, you should probably just use the boot sequence to get it out of the rotation. Not that this fight is gonna really bother us too much. And we drew lethal by pulling on that strike. Stone Calendar is kind of garbage, but yeah, you know what? We do have... The way we play, battles often take quite a while, so it's not the worst. Now you could remove a card, you could upgrade a card. Consume needs to be upgraded pretty urgently, I do believe, out of these options. And now you can justify playing it multiple times. And I think you gotta go for another elite, right? We're on Black Star energy. Alright. You're at full health. You're at full health, you have such strong defense. I think you gotta go for another elite, right? Or am I at this point... At this point I'm also thinking, you know what? We could just beat the Time Eater with what we have right now. Maybe I'm gonna take the coward's way out, but nah. Nah, son. You gotta go all in. So get self-repair out of the way. Just get boot sequence out of the way. Start clawing him. And maybe, I was like, maybe double capacitor early could be a good thing. Or one capacitor and one glacier. Mixing and matching. And that is a decent first turn. Another glacier is fantastic. Maybe he could have defended, but I was like, he's probably not going to be punching through our block. Especially if he's not even attacking. Consuming is very powerful. So this fight is going to take a while. Our streamlines haven't showed up yet. Only one of our claws has showed up. Do you dual cast? You dual cast just because it raises the damage that he'll take. Every card you play raises the damage that he takes. And that's brought him down a little bit. But only a little. Alright. Let's keep things moving. Let's try and get some damage on this guy. The fight goes really slow, and he does gain ramping damage afterwards. So you can't just completely act like, oh, I'm never gonna take damage this fight. So you do have to think about, okay, how am I gonna get through his health? Because he has more health than... I think he might have more health than every boss other than the Heart. Definitely has more health than Time Eater. Donu and Deka combined might have as much health as he does. I'm like, okay, with a consume this strong, with an upgraded consume, it is worth it doing it multiple times. But I think only 4 orbs with orbs that are this strong is kind of good, because that's giving you 32 block per turn just without doing anything. And if you're playing other things, if you're playing your Equilibrium, if you're playing a Glacier and orbs are being evoked, and you're getting the block from just the base, card, like the stuff that the card does, that's pretty good. All right. So now finally our claws are getting a bit of power, and now he's gonna start doing ramping damage, and it's gonna get pretty nasty unless we can kill him pretty quickly. So up until now it was all fun and games, but now I'm like, okay, this is gonna get really harsh really quickly. I'm like, I could get rid of one of my orbs, or I could with a dual cast just to make sure I'm not taking damage. You see, he does pretty insane damage. So I play all my defensive cards first. I'll even do a zap just to evoke one of my orbs, just so that I can hit him with my streamlines right at the end as they're doing the most damage they possibly can. Brought him down to under 100 health, but I think he's gonna start punching through our block pretty soon. And luckily, we were able to get him taken down right in the nick of time. Strike Dummy is pretty useless. Toxic Egg is entirely useless. Defragment, I think, honestly, might be a... Wait, did it take Skim? I don't know. In hindsight, I'm like, maybe you should take Defragment. Out of these, Loop is a great option. Immediately it catches my eye. I'm like, we can do Loop and Dolly's Mirror. What would we want to Dolly's Mirror? Why did I take Skim? I was like, okay, Skim, even against the Time Eater, Skim gets us to our important cards more quickly. So even though it's a card that you play and it increments the counter, it can help you do strong turns. And I was like, let's just do another capacitor. We're just gonna go all in, because this way we can just keep on consuming. We can consume 3 times and then play capacitor again, and you even take your loop, right? I'm like, okay, unless we just have the worst possible first 3 turns against the Time Eater, we should be able to put ourselves in a situation where he is gonna not be able to do that much damage to us, hopefully. Right, now you don't open that because you got Cursed Key. You do fight an elite. You do fight an elite. The only situation where I would open a box with Cursed Key is if I had the Matryoshka. Because then you're giving up on 2 relics, right? It's pretty rough. This guy is always annoying, but sometimes fun. Now he's intangible. It's still a good idea to hit him with Streamline just to lower its cost. It's still a good idea to hit him with Claw just to power it up. It's still a good idea to Beam Cell just to make him vulnerable for the turn when he is taking damage. And then you might as well do 1 damage with the Strike. And now here come the burns. Alright. So, ooh, easy. Oh, you gotta seek something high value. Maybe even a Skim. honestly. Yeah, because that gives you can then play lots of stuff. Okay, let's see what Skim gives me. Skim gives me a capacitor. Lovely. I think you just play it. And you maybe hologram back a glacier. And then that's your whole turn. Or you start doing damage to him. Well, I mean, chill gives us a little bit more, and then, ooh, interesting. Consume and claw, maybe. Consume and, oh no, consume and loop. Interesting. Interesting move. Loop. It's just a good thing to play early. And it's also a lovely thing to upgrade. Now he's again gonna be intangible, so that's really dumb. So we'll just hit him with a streamline, lower its cost maybe. So I think you gotta do consume capacitor. Or capacitor consume. If you have open slots, it doesn't really matter what order you do them in. If you don't have open slots, like if your slots are all filled, then consuming will just get rid of one of your orbs without... I don't think it even evokes the orb, I think it just gets rid of it. So, you gotta make sure you're not wasting your orbs, right? Alright, now... we gotta start damaging this guy. It's just like the big giant head, right? Over time, the burns are gonna start overwhelming us. Unless we can, you know, start actually hitting him. Alright. So now he is vulnerable. We do have a streamline. We do have 2 streamlines, in fact. So this is a big damage turn. You gotta just skim, I think. Ooh, beam cell. Keep him vulnerable. Outstanding. Skim gives us nothing really of value, but consume. That's nice. You got a dual cast. And you gotta just slowly chip the guy down. Like, I've watched people have some pretty dumb fights. I forget who it was, but there was a Let's Player I was watching who was having a really long fight against this guy, and he had like extra draw every turn from some relic, I think. It might have been silent with Ring of the Snake, and then he had a turn where he drew 6 burns and nothing else. I think he survived that somehow. I'm trying to remember who it was. But yeah, like, he just keeps adding burns to your deck. So the fight goes long enough, yeah, you will just draw burns and nothing else, because you'll have nothing else in your deck. Sundial is really good. Emotion Chip, if you take damage, it's, you know, gives you a little bit of extra added value. It's gotta be cool-headed, I think. Right? More defense, more draw, and now maybe we start going for upgrades. We could do 3 upgrades and 1 elite, but I think you gotta upgrade loop, right? You gotta upgrade loop, and at this point most of our important things are upgraded. I'm thinking I could go to question mark, get a card removal. I could go to the elite, or I could maybe get lots of card removals by going to these rest sites. So even though we have Black Star, I'm like, at this point, I don't really even want... Yeah, we could get like Shuriken, Kunai, But we're excuse me, we're winning, and the thing that's holding us back is we're just not. Our deck has too much garbage in it. So I'm like, I could upgrade. Let's just remove something. Let's just remove some trash. And I remove a strike. Even though the strikes do more damage with strike dummy, they're still gonna be outpaced by a claw. After like you play 3 claws and the claws are now doing more damage. This is an annoying fight just because of how much of your time it wastes. It seems like every single Act 3 fight, the theme of it is how much of the player's time can we waste. At least we're relatively secure against this guy. Yeah, just do that. Just hit him with a bit of this. Hit him with a bit of that. And just hope that he's not punching through your block. I think he did get through my block, but he didn't get beyond my block. Like, he did damage equal to all of my block, but nothing more. Consuming is pretty good. Glacier, I think, is the most sensible thing. And hey, we even drew a Sender's Vein. And that can just get the heck out of here. Right. You got a claw. Self-repair just to get it out of our face. Ooh, we did take a bit of damage in the fight, I guess. Okay. Alright. You gotta... You gotta just... Well, there's no point playing Seek because there's only one thing in our draw. I could have played the unupgraded Seek to do that. At this point, I'm realizing what I should have done was I should have played the unupgraded Seek and then used Equilibrium on the upgraded Seek, and then I could have, I mean, the fight's gonna end this turn anyway, but you still... When you make mistakes, you're like, damn, I wish I hadn't done that, because now everybody's gonna think I'm stupid. Beam Cell, and then Seek on a claw, I guess. And I think we're pretty safe, right? Yeah, he didn't even touch our block. And we heal back to full. Rebound is an interesting idea, but it's too late for that, I think. We don't have enough claws. We have only 2 claws. If we had like 6 or 7, then I would think about rebound, but it's too late. You gotta just remove another card, I think. You gotta just remove another card. Alright, let's see it. It's a strike. That's out of our deck now. Terrible first turn. Didn't draw any of our powers. Boot sequence just to get it out. Claw, maybe just to start powering it up. Now you gotta early consume. Alright, now we have to start hitting our capacitors. Early loop, I guess, is pretty good. All of a sudden, that's 5 cards played, and we haven't even found any of our good. In fact, I'm so upset about what happened that I'm just gonna undo it. So let's see how this goes differently, right? So this time, don't play a claw. This time, play your loop, and then you'll have one more card to play next turn. I guess I'm still playing the claw anyway? I don't know. I just really don't enjoy fighting this guy. It's such a... such an awkward and like stunted way of playing the game that I just do not like it at all. You could even beam cell him, but I'm like, we're not going to be damaging him until pretty far in the future, so beam cell is going to be a waste of a card. You do hit the capacitor. You just have to do it. You do hit the glacier. I'm like, do I use the self-repair just to get it out of the way? I'm like, what are the last two things I want? And I'm like, the last two things I want to do is I want to beam cell and then hit him. Not getting through a block on that turn. Chill just to get it out. Seek. Again, I did the upgraded Seek when there was only one thing to draw. Literally made the same mistake I made in the last fight. Whatever, dude. Like, there's no point even playing Zap. So he's not attacking this turn. You do consume. I'm like, I could play self-repair, but what are the odds that the fight's gonna go that long? And then I'm thinking, okay, the odds are actually pretty good that the fight's gonna go that long. And now you gotta just maybe equilibrium on the skim. Beam cell equilibrium. Alright. That's a good start. Glacier is an idea, Streamline is an idea. Claw, we gotta start. It's like with our last three fights. Yes, getting your defense set up is important, but you then also have to start damaging this guy, right? He's reduced our draw as well because he fucking sucks. But at this point, you're like, okay, let's just hit ourselves with a glacier. Maybe make sure we're not taking damage. Could we seek something nice? Could we hologram something nice? Charge battery for energy next turn. And we've got a decent amount of cards to play. You gotta streamline him, I think. Just play all of these cards. See what we draw. 2 claws, I think, is pretty nice. And I'm like, I could play Cold Snap, but I think, Stone Calendar procced. Doing a paltry amount of damage that he's just gonna probably heal. Right, so at a certain point in the fight, the claws are gonna start doing more damage than the streamlines. I could just hologram, I could seek. At this point, I do use another consume, so now we have 6 orbs that are giving us 11 block each, plus whatever extra block we're getting from, like hologram, charge battery, glacier, cold snap. So at this point, I'm like, we gotta start ramping up our damage because we're pretty safe. But we still want to take the fight seriously, so you gotta make him vulnerable. And I think you gotta just hit him. And that's a decent end to this this turn, I think. God, such an annoying fight, dude. Alright, hologram. It gives us nothing because there's nothing in our discard. I still haven't taken my regen potion. I should have taken my regen potion now because then there was a chance we could have ended with full health. Oh no, we will end with full health because we, I think, played our self-repair. Foolish, foolish. Okay, so now he's healed. Making Stone Calendar a complete waste because it triggered so, because we were so slow that it triggered before we brought its health down. I did a quick bit of back of the napkin kind of math. I'm like, okay, one more consume does excuse me, does technically give us more block per turn, because 5 times 14 is more than 11 times than 6 times 11. And now he's starting to really struggle. He's starting to really struggle. He's got a bit of block, but I mean, I don't think he's lasting too long. A Glacier just to laugh in his face. A Streamline just to hit him some more. A Beam Cell just to keep him vulnerable, but he's gonna be vulnerable next turn anyway. And let's see what we draw. Streamline is a pretty good bit of damage to do. A Claw is a nice bit of damage to do. And I guess Equilibrium just to keep the Glacier, or just don't even play anything. Alright. Consistently gaining more than 100 block per turn. Alright. Bash the dude. What I should do is I should just hologram the claws, because they're, I think, doing more damage than the Streamlines at this point. And is he dead? Oh, excuse me, my throat's starting to go a little bit. He's not dead yet, but he soon will be. Let's skim something nice. Yep. And he's dead. Okay, that was pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is, at this point, I'm gonna transition back into the game, and then I will do some more commentary in OBS over the statistics screen, and we're just gonna look at what cards we had for this run, because yeah, I think that's the way to do this, right? So I'll see you in a bit. Right, so now we're back in. We just did the run, and let me show you the run history. I'm gonna have to find it because I'm recording all of this, the post commentary and this part is being recorded in the future. So let me just find this in my run statistics. Just give me a moment. Right, this is the run, the Black Star run. When you find Black Star early, you gotta just go for it. Usually the problem is Black Star shows up for me way too late, even showing up as an Act 1 reward, it's already too late. Because number one, my Act 1 boss reward, I want it to be something that gives me energy. Number two, I've already lost a lot of the elites that it could apply to. And number three, often I'm just too weak to even fight elites going forward. But it showed up early, and even though we had some rough encounters, our health very quickly dropped. 36 damage against the gang of gremlins. Not even an elite, just regular enemy. 36 damage to those guys. 17 damage to Lagavulin brought us down to 4 health. But then slowly we started getting a bit of health back. We rested. We took only 6 damage against the sentries. We rested again, probably. Oh no, we upgraded Streamline, and then we took out the boss. It was pretty good. As for the run itself, it was a pretty, I don't know, man. It's kind of, I guess, par for the course that as the defect you have to have Capacitor, you have to have Glacier, and then whatever else you do, uh, it's just a bonus. Or like you pick capacitor, you pick glacier, and then everything else you do, it's just you're deciding how you're gonna do damage. Is it gonna be claw? Is it gonna be dark orb? Is it gonna be something else, like a lightning, thunder strike kind of situation? For us, it was claws and streamlines. Now, we had streamline, right? Yeah, both of them were upgraded. But the thing about streamline is that early on, the claws are going to be doing much less damage than the streamlines, but the claws also start off free. Eventually, the streamlines will become free, but the claws you can play right out of the gate. The streamlines, it takes a while for them to become free, but eventually they will become free. And then, if you have enough claws, right? If for instance, instead of 2, we had 4 claws, then after like a couple of turns, right? Because you're hologramming as well. If you have all for 1, even better. Very quickly, the claws will overtake the streamlines. Because we only had 2 claws, the streamlines were outpacing the claws for longer. But yeah, it was a decent way of doing damage. And yeah, all in all, a decent run. And I think let's just look at the relics again. Black Star helped us get some stuff. Potion Belt helped us out because you only have 2 slots normally in Ascensions. Now you're back up to 4. Runic Dome made some fights pretty scary, but more energy was vital. Peace Pipe helped us thin down our deck right at the end. Otherwise, who knows how that final Time Eater fight could have gone. We took 9 damage, but because we did self-repair, we healed up to full. Again, not... Whatever, man. Whatever, it is what it is. He exists in the game, sure. Let's just not let him spoil our fun, especially because this is a victory. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that went. And yeah, I'm gonna call it good here. When we come back, I'll show you a run with the Ironclad, and yeah, hopefully that one goes. Hopefully the lead up towards the winning run with the Ironclad won't be as bad as the lead up towards the winning run with this one. Which is to say, hopefully I don't have to resort to post commentary on that one. A very long run too, by the way, 1 hour and 23 minutes. But we won, and that's all that matters. That was Ascension 16 taken out, right? So I'm gonna say thank you so much for watching. Hope you had a good time, and until the next time, take care.